And I'm creating this episode in not in the yeah in the season is fine, but in the time of election of the local politicians, which is why so you may be able to hear some Japanese language Japanese language spoken by the candidates of politicians in my country, and which means so I'm Japanese and living in Japan, and anyway, so I'm recording this episode in the how should I not how should I say in the beginning of April, and this is anyway this is so the time of election has begun, and this is so that the election is one of the elections which occasionally take place in this country, or in this region, or in this in this anyway in this region actually. So I don't tell you which region I live in, but actually this my residence is in Tokyo, or near Tokyo, which is a place in which my residence is located. And so I'm sorry for my so clumsy manner or non-native manner of speaking English language. And as I have told you, I'm a non-native speaker. I'm a non-native speaker of English language, which is why. So I think you have already understood that I'm a non-native speaker of English language, which is why I'm bad at speaking English. And by the way, so my mother tongue is really this is just an excuse actually, but my language, or my mother tongue is really different from English or other West European languages like French language and German language, and many people have said that German language has similar pronunciation to that of Japanese language. Anyway, so some so it may be possible to say that the local people in my country may be better at German language than using the English language. Anyway, so comparison is really so disorganized. But actually comparison I said I compared German language and the using English language. Anyway, so anyways, comparing the German language and the English language in terms of acquisition, or in terms of the acquisitions, and the acquisitions of both of those languages. Anyway, German language may be better for the local people of my country, and which is a digression in this episode. And I should come. I should go to the main track of this episode. And wait a moment, please. And this time is about the war, about the war. But actually, the war is an imminent war, I think, which means the war. I think the war is going to happen soon enough. Not soon enough, but the war is going to happen soon, which is my speculation. And the topic is, what the title is, the title of this episode is, After World War III, North Korea should become a colony of Japan. So anyway, so if you are not interested in the business of East Asian countries, and if you have no interest in Asian countries, please close this episode, or please stop listening to this episode, so that you can spend your own precious time for other things. Which is why, and but actually, so if you are interested, if you are interested in, or if you have some interest in, or if you have some interest in East Asian countries or other Asian countries to some extent, and I recommend that you listen to, or you do not stop listening to this episode, and I recommend you continue to listen to this episode. And here are the conclusion. No, here is the conclusion. Here is the conclusion, which is, so anyway. So it's just the following is the reasons, and you haven't understood what I have just said. I said the following is the reasons, and how to read the reasons is by accessing by accessing the description column of this episode. And this is a season as I have told you, you can simultaneously listen to some candidates of this region speaking Japanese language, and this is one of the speeches of a candidate, and she's a woman, and I don't know who she is, by the way. And maybe, yeah, anyway, this is the beginning of April, and if you'd like to identify where I live in, so please check out the internet, and you can find out, so which region has an election in the April in 2023, and in the beginning of April in 2023, so that you may be able to identify where I live in. Anyway, the reasons are, I'm going to tell you the reasons, and number one, which is South Korean people don't like the reunification of the two Koreas. And number two, which is the damages of Japan may be smaller than those of South Korea. And the number three, which is United States can surely afford to subsidize North Korea. And first of all, and anyway, that's nothing like first of all, but actually, so gist is that the war I'm talking about is the Third World War or World War III. Which means that the main belligerents, or the main fighting parties are United States against China or the mainland China and Russia, which are the main belligerents. I think which I think those three countries are going to become the main belligerents or the main fighting members in the Third World War. And other fighting parties, maybe some West European countries. I think, for example, Germany or Britain, and France and the Netherlands, or other West European countries may become the main belligerents or main fighting members against, for example, against Russia. I think European Union is going to declare war against Russia, or vice versa. Russia declaring a war against the European Union can be realistic. Or I think that pattern is, or that direction of the declaration of war is realistic, I think. But actually, so anyway, so as I have told you, this country doesn't become a main belligerent. Well, this country doesn't become a main belligerent, or this country is only one country, and this country doesn't become one of the main belligerents in the Third World War, which is why because this country, there's no trouble between this country. Of course, this country has some trouble, has some territorial troubles. What is the problems of territories between Russia and this country, and between the mainland China and this country? There are such problems. There are such diplomatic problems in this country. But actually, for example, if the Third World War occurs in the future, the pattern was how to occur is, for example, that North Korea is going to intrude into North Korea intrudes into the soil of South Korea, or the mainland China invade into or assault Taiwan Island, was the Taiwan Island was the government of Taiwan, which those two manners are realistic or possible anyway. But actually, so to start with, nobody is interested in my country, which is why Russia doesn't want to take any territories of my country, because Russia has Sakhalin, and I forgot how to call the northern islands. Anyway, I forgot how to call the northern islands. There are northern islands which has a which has a problems or which has a problem of I mean which has a territorial problem between my country and Russia and another problem is that there's a southern islands which has a problem between which has a territorial problem between the mainland China and Taiwan and my country anyway. So the main members are the mainland China and my country, and they claim the control or both of our countries want those southern islands anyway. But actually, apart from those two territorial problems, nobody is interested in my country in terms of diplomatic importance or in terms of other economic importances. And because to start with, the mainland China is becoming the richest country, exceeding the United States in terms of gross GDP or GDP anyway, and which is considering which the importance of my country is getting smaller. Or to start with, the population of my country is declining, and the market of this country is shrinking. So which is why this country has a really a dark future, and considering which so nobody wants to invade into my country, or to start with, nobody wants to own the territory of my country, and because there's no use in or there's no significance in conquering my country, and but actually this country is useful for the United States of America, which is why because United America can fight against China and Russia by using the territories or by using the soil of this country. And but apart from which, anyway, this country doesn't become a belligerent of the Third World War, which is what I'd like you to know. So based on which, what I have just told you is a presumable condition in this episode, and based on which, so as I have told you, so South Korea or Taiwan may become main belligerent or main fighting members in the Third World War. So which is why, so in other words, this country may, in other words, or which may mean, or which means, so this country doesn't get hurt, or this country will not get hurt, or this country is not going to be attacked or assailed or assault or get assaulted by the countries of communism, which is why the damages which may the damages inflicted which may be inflicted onto this country, or the damages which this country may incur may not be or are not going to be large. I'm sorry for my bad manner. I'm sorry for my clumsy manner of explaining. So anyway, this country doesn't get hurt so much, or this country does not incur harsh damages or harsh attacks by the countries of communists, or by the countries of communism, and which is why I think you have already understood what I'd like to tell you. Anyway, this country is safe in such a sense, which is why so United States may get severely hurt, and the mainland China and the Russia may get severely or detriment, may get may get detrimental damages, or may get may be destroyed. The mainland China or Russia may get destroyed by the United States of America and or by other West European countries. Such a thing may occur, but actually this country is safe if if the Third World War occurs in the future. And which is why this country would have a lot of money or a lot of wealth after the after the Third World War, well, this country, so we will have had, this country will have had a lot of money or a lot of wealth after the end of the Third World War, which is what I'd like you to imagine. So which is why, so Japan should own the Japan should own the territory of North Korea, or Japan should conquer the, well, Japan should own the North Korea as one of the colonies, or as a colony. This country doesn't have a colony, which is why Japan should own the North Korea after the Third World War is finished, and and as a Japan should own the North Korea as a colony, which is what they did this time, and I mean after the Third World War, and so the reason is, as I have, and other reasons are, so other reasons are that so as I have told you, as a reason first. So South Korean people do not want the reunification. South Korean people do not want the reunification with North Korea, which is one of the reasons, and they don't want to accept those poor people living in North Korea, and they have different perspectives, and they have different cultures, and South Korean people are rich and North Korean people are extremely impoverished, while North Korean people are extremely poor, which is why the reunification of those two Koreas is going to surely provoke, well, it's going to surely inflict really severe or huge problems onto those two Korean countries, or onto the United Korea anyway. And there are two reasons, and the number two is, the second reason is the damages of Japan may be smaller than those of South Korea, which is what I have just told you before the brief explanation of the reason first. Anyway, which means the reason first is that the South Korean people do not like the reunification of the Korean Peninsula, and the reason number two is that this country doesn't become a main belligerent, which is why this country is not going to incur severe damages or severe destructions or severe detriments by the opponents, or which are the countries of communism. And the third reason is that United States can surely afford to subsidize North Korea, because United States made it hard. United States may incur severe damages or severe detriment by the countries of communism, which is why, well, to start with, I mean, United States has a risk of separation or split because so there's a candidate named Mr. Donald Trump, and who may become the president, and I think if Mr. Donald Trump doesn't if Mr. Donald Trump doesn't becomes the next president, that country may become split, or may get separated, or So I think that country has such a risk, or such a risk of split or separation. So which is why, the Third World War may be detrimental to the future of the United States. So which is why United States may not be able to subsidize the North Korea or South Korea after the World War III. So which is why Japan should own the soil or the territory of North Korea as a colony. So and which are those three reasons why Japan should own the North Korea as a colony. And I'm going to finish this episode, and the title is After World War III, North Korea should become a colony of Japan. And the conclusion is, the following is the reasons, and you can read the reasons as I have just told you by accessing the description column of this episode. And the first reason is South Korean people don't like the reunification of the two Koreas. And the second reason is the damages of Japan may be smaller than those of South Korea. And the third reason is United States can't surely afford to subsidize North Korea. So based on those reasons, so I think this country should conquer, or this country should own, or yeah, this country should, it was maybe, in the position of Korean people, Korean people should, should seize the territory and the people in North Korea to this country, or anyway, this country should own the territory, or the people and the people living in North Korea as a colony, which is what I'd like you to know this time. So that's it. Thank you very much for listening. See you.